What it do, YouTube? What's going
What
on?
it do?
Yeah, you got your boys in the house. Thanks for joining us for another episode of Who's the Master. It looks like nobody's joining us at the time, but hey, people be filtering in and out all the time.
It's all right, man.
Yeah.
Life goes on, and we're here. That's all that truly matters.
If you join us, whether it's now or later, let us know what you think about this time slot. This is what we have it scheduled for, but hey, if we need to move some things around to get more views, looks like we got somebody that just jumped in. Let us know if you like a different time better. Maybe we'll put up a vote. We haven't done enough votes on this channel, I don't think, Bobo.
No, we should do more votes. We should do more polls. We should do more, all kinds of more stuff. And we're going
power
to
to people of Who's the Master.
If you guys could see like how much more organized our show is on our side of things, every day that we do it, it gets better and better and better on our side. You're going to soon start seeing it on your side. I promise. We are making advancements. You just aren't.
He's all grossed up now. He's all grossed up.
Yeah, we all grossed up.
Yo, how's your day going, man?
My day's going good, man. I mean, it's cold as over here. And it is for you. You're just right down the road.
Yeah, well, it's 54 degrees outside. Let's not get crazy here. It's
I'm in an area where the sunlight doesn't hit all that much though. So like my house, it just doesn't warm up all that easily, or my apartment doesn't warm up all that easily. So sometimes I'll go walk the dog and find a sun pocket and be like, oh, it is getting kind of nice. Come back inside my apartment and be like, God dang, it's cold here.
Yeah, facts. So we live in Texas. I don't know if you guys know what Texas is like during the winter times now that we have a bunch of people moving in and we don't have a good power grid. But it's going to freeze this weekend, and that's a scary thing in Texas.
Everybody's worried.
Yeah, for sure.
But
right, well, let's get it popping, Bobo. We got a lot to talk about. Some news dropped. And man, this story dropped this morning. And
let me just do something real quick just before we start, just so we get this officially started, because we are on Who's the Master?
Right. Damn it, I forgot. You know what else I forgot, guys? I forgot to let you know that you need to comment down below, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell to get notified when we drop these videos so you can join us and be a part of the channel. If you watch this show at all, you would know that we are all in the comment section. So if you want to have your voice heard, if you've been thinking to yourself, man, I want to be on the YouTube show, but I want to go through all the effort of being on the YouTube show, well, comment during this live chat. It's like the next best thing, you know?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, we love the comments. It makes the show way more fun and more engaging. And with comments, more topics are covered, and it kind of like tree branches off into something else maybe we weren't thinking of discussing, but we want to discuss. So yeah, please comment.
We'll have a couple of reviews dropping for y'all as well. We got a Violent Night review that's about to drop. I filmed my end the other night. We also filmed our Avatar review, Better Late Than Never, on that. I mean, we know people are going to be seeing that for a while. So,
oh yeah, that's the beauty about that. And I think that Violent Night is good enough to where, you know, that's the beauty about us doing these reviews for Christmas is when next year swings back around, they'll be posting those things. Well, we reposting them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, let's get popping, man. Let's talk about our first story. It dropped at 7 a.m. this morning. Variety put out their list of 100 greatest movies. That shit crate is Psycho the GOAT. And you heard me right. Their greatest movie, according to Variety, the #1 movie of all time is Psycho. Now, for those of you that have been fans of Bobo for a while, knows he loves him some horror flicks. He is a burgeoning horror director. He's coming out with a horror movie that you guys will be able to see sooner rather than later. So when I saw that Psycho was #1, you know I had to bring it to this channel to talk about. Bobo, why don't you go ahead and throw up the banner and then let us know what you think about that.
Yeah, I definitely, first off, Psycho, okay, awesome movie. Excellent horror film. It started a lot, you know, as far as, first off, so many filmmakers look to Alfred Hitchcock as, you know, their inspiration and things like that. But Psycho was kind of like the first real mainstream horror film. Up until then, there were not mainstream horror films that people were going to the theater seeing, much less talking about around the water cooler for months and months and months. But this one did. I love that. But best movie of all time? I just don't. I was not moved when I got done watching Psycho. I love every second of it. I was telling Ancho, I have a Blu-ray, a Steelbook Blu-ray of it that's beautiful. So I worship the movie in its own right, but just that in its own right, not greatest movie of all time. So I don't think that was a good choice. How about you?
So, first of all, let's say what up, Derpy. Keep it busting. Thanks for joining us.
What up, buddy?
Yeah, man. Wow, that's surprising. You heard it here first. Bobo thinks Alfred Hitchcock is overrated. Man, I was surprised though. Listen, I love Psycho as well. Here's the problem with I was talking to Bobo about this earlier. when you're younger and you watch an older movie, so Psycho came out years before I was born. By the time I had it in my consciousness to go back and rewatch Psycho, I had already seen all the movies that had copied and came after it, right? That had taken the formula that Psycho gave it and then either redone it to death or even in some ways made it a little bit better. And so when I'm watching Psycho, I'm trying to think to myself, I'm trying to remind myself, hey, do not judge this movie against those. This movie is the original. Those movie would not exist without this movie, but it's hard to do that. You can't help but subconsciously think about those other movies that you've already seen when watching Psycho, and therefore you don't enjoy it as much. So I wonder if it's really unfair for us to judge Psycho as being the greatest movie of all time. Listen, are you gonna argue that Alfred Hitchcock is one of the greatest directors of all time?
No, he is, and he's honestly, I'd say in the top 10, but I would say that he has movies that are more deserving of greatest film of all time
Such
than
as?
Psycho. North by Northwest.
Yep, that's
Um,
what I was thinking.
so Rear Window. I mean, there's more of a wrapped up, like, don't get me wrong, again, I love Psycho. I adore it. I rewatch it all the time. I I just it's got a very kind of narrow scope in a sense that it's boy, crazy mom, people getting killed in a motel. There's a lot more layers and depth going on with Rear Window and North by Northwest. There's all these cool things to pick apart and dig into. Your brain goes left and right and all. So I just feel like as a package, those are more deserving than Psycho.
Yeah, man. I mean, I love Alfred Hitchcock, but I love me some Kubrick more. I probably would have gone with a Kubrick movie as my number one. Maybe choose which one
So
though.
so 2000 Space Odyssey 2001 got in
Yeah,
there, but what
yeah, it's
number
number
was it?
7, right?
Okay.
That would probably be my top choice. I think we might. You guys, let us know if you want us to deep dive in this 100 list because there's a lot of interesting things here. Godfather is ranked way over Godfather 1. They had Godfather in the top 10, which Bobo also disagrees with.
What up,
Uh,
Ez? What up, brother? You and Colleen. Nice to see you guys.
yeah, what up, guys? It's a Wonderful Life ranked number 8. Seven Samurai ranked number 6. Pulp Fiction ranked number 5. Citizen
That's
Kane
deserving. Pulp Fiction
ranked
is deserving.
Yeah, and so is Seven Samurai. Seven Samurai is a great movie. Number 4, Citizen Kane. Number 3, The Godfather. Number 2, Wizard of Oz. Number 1, Psycho. We had a couple others that caught our eye. There were a couple that we thought that were rated a little bit too lowly. Number 100 is The Graduate. Um,
Okay.
Hard Day's Night is number 96. Toy Story is 95. I thought that should have been rated much higher.
Needs to be higher for sure. What was another one? There was one that said that
90, The Shining. I thought that needed to be ranked a little bit higher, in my opinion, as well. Same with Sound of
Bridesmaids
Music at 87.
87 should be higher, but Bridesmaids you said was on there. Bridesmaid, I don't even think should be on the list.
No, not 100 greatest movies of all time. I mean, listen, that movie
Bridesmaid,
slapped. All right, that movie's funny, but
you know, Paul Figgis is like, oh yes, the
yeah.
director.
84, Pan's Labyrinth. I thought should have been ranked higher. 82, Parasite. Honestly, that's fine. I'm fine with that. 81,
Didn't deserve
The
Best
Dark
Picture.
Knight should have been ranked higher.
Definitely should have been. That's the one that I thought should have been ranked higher for sure.
Yeah, listen, Goldfinger ranked 77. I love me some James Bond, but I don't know about all that.
That's my favorite Bond film though, is Goldfinger.
Really?
Well, right after Casino Royale.
I would say Casino Royale has a better, shot at making my top 100 than Goldfinger. Now, once again, I watched Goldfinger way after the fact, right? I mean, when I was a
I
kid,
grew
I
up
watched
watching
Goldfinger. I didn't
Goldfinger.
understand what was going on. Then by the time I did and rewatched it, I was way older. 70, 12 Years a Slave. So there's a lot of interesting things. As Maniac, best film list, yes, per Variety as Maniac. I actually put the link in the comments if you want to click on it and take a look for yourself. And make sure you comment and let us know what you think of the list. We'd love to hear from you guys and see if you agree with us that Psycho shouldn't be number one or you think that it's well deserved. Bobo made it clear he does not care for Alfred Hitchcock.
Jeez.
But okay, so out of curiosity, Bobo, you said he belongs to your top 10 list of directors. Who is your top 10 list?
Man, I'd have to really take some time to think about the
No
top
time,
10.
Bobo. You're on the spot. You got to do it.
Well, but I can tell you
there's
who my
no
number
take
one
backs.
is. I can tell you my number one is Ridley Scott.
Okay.
But top 10 would be
Really?
tough for me to really. I need to think about that. I just need, but
My number one's Kubrick. Why Scott over Kubrick?
because for me,
Mhm.
while Scott, every film that he has isn't a straight to the bank A+. I get that. Same thing with Spielberg. Not everything he does is just awesome, but I do feel like that Ridley has done so many genres and has tapped into so many different styles of film, whether it be something like Matchstick Men, which is slightly a drama, something to be like Thelma and Louise, which is a comedy drama, whether it be something like Alien, which is sci-fi horror, whether it be something like Gladiator, whether it be something like House of Gucci. The guy to me just understands how to make movies. And I just love him for that. And I loved his brother Tony Scott as well. God rest his soul. But I think Tony was much more of a like a Jerry Bruckheimer style filmmaker, outside of like True Romance. But Ridley just, I love everything he does. I like that he's always just tackling different genres and doing them well.
As Maniac definitely does not agree with Psycho being
Yeah.
one.
Yeah, we definitely don't.
Bobo, do you know the saying, Jack of all trades, master of none? That's what I feel about Ridley Scott, because Ridley Scott has made some great movies and he's also made some turds. Name me, outside of the last movie that he didn't complete, the one with Kidman and Tom Cruise, I can't remember the name of. Name me a Kubrick movie that didn't slap.
Well, to be honest, the only ones I can think of off the top of my head that I've really seen are Shining, Full Metal Jacket, Shivago, or is it Strangelove? I always get it mixed up.
Dr. Strangelove.
Strangelove. I always get it. I never can.
I can't believe. Whoa! I didn't even see that on the list. By the way, can you believe that wasn't on the list?
See, I think it's okay. 2001: Space Odyssey is good. It's mesmerizing, but those movies don't. And again, this is what's great about film.
You didn't like The Shining?
Oh, I love The Shining. I'm just trying. And Eyes Wide Shut. So maybe 5 or 6 movies of his that I've actually seen, but he only has like 10 or 11.
Yeah, they're all bangers.
But so Strangelove, it was okay to me. Full Metal Jacket, I adore. I own it. Shining, I adore. I own it. Eyes Wide Shut was wacky, but I do understand that he died right at the end of that. AI, he was supposed to be doing, but he didn't get to do that at all. So I don't know. For me, what grips me about film, Ridley hits harder than Stanley does. But that's my what I like about. We also like different styles of movies sometimes.
I would put. I don't know if I'd even put Ridley in my top 10. I mean, really, the movies he's done well, like I said, I love. But Quentin Tarantino, Kubrick for me, my number 1, number 2.
Tarantino's in there
somewhere. But hey, it's all a matter of opinion. My opinion happens to be the right one, but hey, everybody's
everybody knows
opinion,
that.
So.
Everybody.
All right, let's go ahead and move it to the next subject. Way of Water making it rain, dog. Way of Water continues to make money, has now passed $550 million international and domestic.
Jeez,
Baba, this movie's a monster, and honestly, it's underperforming. That's the thing. That's how high expectations were for this. What are your thoughts on its whole?
First off, while that's under expectations, I still think they're happy, and I think that they know that it's going to make some money, and I think that it's here to stay. And I don't mean here to stay to where it's going to stay in the theaters. Yeah, I mean it will be a lengthier stay in theaters than most because first off, Disney owns the only platform this thing's going to go on, so they're like, we're going to milk this as much as we can out of the theater until we put it on the platform. So the Blu-rays, those are going to sell regardless if people want them or not. I mean, like the Blu-ray collectors like myself, we're going to buy it regardless. So it's here to stay, and I think that it will make. I don't want to just sit here and say that it's going to surpass the first one in blockbuster sales, but if not, it will get very close, and they will make a huge profit off of this movie.
Well, here's the thing: the numbers you always have to adjust for inflation. So we'll have to see what the raw numbers are after adjusting for inflation. I think it's still going to perform pretty well, though. I think they're going to make their money. Here's the thing: is though, if there is a drop off, is that cause for concern? Because maybe that signals that there's a little bit of the audience that got fatigued after the first one, didn't want to watch the second one, and could that potentially signal that audiences will eventually start getting fatigued with the concept as these next 25 movies come out?
Well, I mean, we'll see. I think the true determining factor on that's going to be the next one. What's the opening on the next one going to be like? And that is not going to be a long wait like it was from this one to the first one. That one's in 2024. So if the next one does like by this same point, this same time frame from opening date, if the next one only does like 300 million, then they're going to be like, okay, we're hitting on a decline here.
Yeah, right.
But I'm not sure that it's. I don't know enough about the industry in today's standards to really know what signs to look for on the decline of something like this because it still made a shit ton of money from its opening weekend to this weekend. So even if it makes 60 more million from this weekend to next weekend, which I don't think that that's going to be the case because Christmas is out. People go see movies on Christmas Day and the day after Christmas. So I think it's still got some time, some steam left in it, man.
Yeah, Anderson predicted a 50 to 60% drop, but that's pretty normal, right? I think Marvel movies usually have the same drop. And once again, with the original Avatar, it didn't stun right out of the gate in the box office. It just continued to have legs and kept
Right.
going and going. It was like that Energizer Bunny from those commercials in the 80s. It just kept going and going and
Hey,
going.
which by the way, did you hear about the Energizer Bunny getting arrested?
Is this a dad joke?
He was charged with battery.
All right, that's it for the show, guys.
Yeah, see ya. Yeah,
All right.
I'm kidding.
Let's see. We got a comment. James Cameron did say they needed $2 billion to break even. I think Disney is fine with taking a loss on these. You're right. And once again, what is the loss? Now, the industry has changed, right? Because back in the day, it was easier to take a risk on movies because you had DVD sales and video sales. And so a lot of times you'd see a movie and you'd hear about being at bust theaters and it would get a second life through DVD sales because it would make the money back. Can't really do that now. But I think this movie will sell some Blu-rays. I know Bob was going to buy like 20 of them.
No, I'll buy the Blu-ray and I'll get the 3D version of it because I have a VR. But you're right. I mean, you try to find that like a DVD section or a Blu-ray section, and even Walmarts and Targets these days, and they are hard to find and almost non-existent. And even then, like nowadays, used to you could go at midnight, like a DVD or Blu-ray comes out on Tuesday. Used to you could go on a Monday night at midnight, and they'd be on the shelves ready for you to get. Now I've gone to Target and Walmart like the day of the next day and be like, hey, wasn't this supposed to be out? They're like, oh yeah, it's still in the back in the packages. They just don't care about it anymore.
You got a VR?
I do.
Which one?
The PSVR.
Okay.
Hey,
No, I'm just saying
it's good, dude. Don't knock it. It's actually really good.
here's the thing, Mark Zuckerberg. I know you listen to this podcast. I know you listen right now. Listen, I know you're losing money. I got a business plan for you, okay? Apparently, people get so depressed after leaving Avatar because they realize they can never live in Pandora. Well, Meta's failing. Partner up with James Cameron and let's go to Meta on Pandora.
Yeah.
And make your money, dog. Free
For
business
sure.
advice for yours truly.
Dude, can you imagine if it'd be like, okay, here, you're gonna mount your dragon.
He just uses it for porn, Brian.
Hell
Hey,
yeah.
well,
What's up,
you know what?
Brian? That's one of my best friends right there. Old
Let's
school
by the way, you might want to check out my review of that that's just okay. We did already see that comment. Okay. Well, you know what? We'll continue to keep an eye on the pulse of Avatar. I think you're right, Bobo. It'll be interesting interesting to see what it makes over the holidays, and so we'll keep you guys posted. So let's move on to the next story. It's all about Avatar as well. Feng Shui, China not feeling Avatar 2. Bonafide film CEO says Avatar 2 is not suited for Chinese audiences and estimates the domestic film The Wandering Earth 2 will outperform it in Chinese theaters. Now, here's the thing, guys. This is not somebody that's saying Avatar can't be viewed by Chinese audiences. A lot of times if a movie does not fit China's sensibilities, it might be outright banned. This is not one of those guys. He's just an analyst, a highly thought of analyst in China that thinks it's going to underperform there because of competition. There are, though, those Chinese critics that disagree with them. But hypothetically speaking, if Avatar does not do well in China, how much do you think it will damage the overall haul of Avatar and plans for sequels?
Well, I think that the third one's still gonna go off without a hitch. They're gonna market that and do it the same way they did this one. But China usually is a lot more of a moneymaker for these films like this, fantasy films, superhero films, depending on what the content is. But like Venom, the first Venom, part of half of the money it made was from China. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know if it's going to fully like hinder, like I said, the steam that Avatar has in it, but I do think it's affecting it a little bit. I mean, at this point, if $200 extra million is $200 extra million.
Yeah, I mean, reading the article right now. This is from Global Times, by the way. As a financial analyst, I can tell you that I didn't even know this magazine existed, but Here we are reading from it. Avatar: The Way of Water was expected to boost the Chinese film market, but it only grossed 456 million won, or 65.47 million on its fifth day of screening in the Chinese mainland, according to Chinese ticketing platform Meiyuan. I think I said that correctly. If I didn't, I apologize. Estimates for the box office of the Hollywood blockbuster have been falling, and now it would be bad if it could surpass 1 billion.
Hey, will you speak in the mic just a little more? Sorry.
Sure. Sorry about that, guys. But yeah, so it only made about 65.47 million in China on its fifth day of screening. So it has definitely underperformed there a little bit. But some people are saying that that has a lot to do with the overall film market in China, as most movies aren't doing well there.
Or yeah, just their state of
Yeah.
living in general.
Yeah, since the outbreak of COVID-19, the
Yeah.
number of foreign language films released in the Chinese film market has decreased a lot.
Yeah, that's they're dealing with a lot though, man. So I'm surprised it's even making that.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Hopefully that doesn't affect the future of Avatar at all, as we definitely want to see these sequels. And once again, keep tuned for our review. Let's go
Yeah,
ahead.
it'll be coming out at like Friday at the latest.
That's right. Friday at the latest. So stay tuned. All right, let's move on to the next topic, guys. Holding DC at gunpoint. That was the title. It was either that or I fought the law and the law gun. I went with gunpoint instead. But James Gunn told people to not get it twisted. And we can go ahead and pull up the tweet, Bobo. This is a Twitter exchange that happened. We had Darth DZL at James Gunn. As long as the studio doesn't override you and your directors at every turn, I, for one, have confidence that you'll actually be making decisions for the DCU that I can get on board with. In my opinion, worth exactly nothing. It was studio interference that derailed the previous attempt at a DCU. It wouldn't surprise me to learn that Mr. Johns was quite frustrated. James Gunn responded by saying the position is different than it was with Zack, etc. Peter and I are the heads of DC Studios. The only studio interference would be from us. Stop me if you've heard that one before. Babo, what are your thoughts?
Well, I think that it's definitely a bold thing for him to say, and I don't know how much I believe that he has 100% control because he's not a WB exec. He's the DC exec, and I don't know how it works at DC, honestly, and I can't sit here and talk about it. I do know that like the way Marvel operates is that they were a studio that was acquired by Disney at some point. Marvel was making their movies before Disney had any
They're
hand.
making money.
Yeah. So obviously Disney is trying to get more control in it, especially when Bob Chapek came along. But Bob Iger was letting Kevin Feige do his thing. He truly was. That was part of their awesome
Well,
relationship they
Ike
had.
Perlmutter was interfering a little bit.
In the beginning he was, but they got him out of there.
Right.
They did.
Yeah.
So the point I'm trying to make is I don't know how DC and Warner Brothers work, but I do know that Warner Brothers bought the rights to anything DC decades ago. So it's not like I'm pretty sure that DC is built into Warner Brothers, not like, oh, let's leave the Warner Brothers lots and go over to DC Studios.
Actually,
you know what I'm saying?
If you want to know the real origin of DC and Warner Brothers, neither owns the other one. They were both actually a subsidiary of a parking company. A parking company used to own both the properties, or both DC and Warner Brothers. And then I forgot the name of the parking company, but apparently there was some big controversy with this parking company back in the day. So it split everything up, and it just happened to pull DC and Warner Brothers together because they were both media properties. And just by the flip of the coin, they said, okay, we'll put DC under Warner Brothers, not the other way. So that's actually the genesis of those two companies. And
Interesting.
Warner Brothers is in charge of DC. I
See,
think it's called Ruby's Parking Company, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I always thought that Warner Brothers just had acquired DC a long time ago. I didn't realize it was like part of the same company already.
That's right. Hey, listen, like LeVar Burton, Reading Rainbow. I'm dropping that knowledge, okay? That's what you stay tuned in for. I actually got that from LeVar. I think Shouts to Comics Explained, who explained that origin of DC and Warner Brothers to me.
That's still, I didn't know that. That's good information.
Listen, yeah, I mean, we all want to think he's in charge, but I just read, and I forgot to put this in our subject line. There are rumors circulating that DC really went hard after Todd Phillips prior to James Gunn and begged him to be in charge of the DCU.
Yeah, I remember that article.
Yeah. Why would they do that? Because Joker was a hit. And that is the type of short-term thinking that got them in this position. Christopher Nolan did well with the Dark Knight trilogy, and the lazy execs were like, well, let's just put him in charge. Let's make everything like a Christopher Nolan movie. That's all we need to do, right? That's all it takes to make a good movie. And so they obviously did the same thing with Joker, which is the most critically acclaimed of the new DCU movies, even though it's
But
not
it's not a
part of the
DCU.
DCU. Yeah, exactly.
Because I did the math the other day. There's 13 DC films now in this new start of things, but there's only 11 DCEU ones. And 2 of those are the Batman and Joker that aren't.
Yeah. Okay.
So it, I wasn't trying to correct you. I was just saying I actually had to like do the homework the other day and figure it out because I wasn't aware.
No, I feel you, man. I feel you, man.
Because
But
that's
here's
how
the
much
thing.
we don't. Well, that's how far and few between the DC movies are. Is that we like? I know when the Marvel movies are coming out. I'm like, oh damn, that's number 30. You know.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing, though. I mean, that's exactly what the problem is they're so reactionary to whatever works that we grasp onto it. It would be this making the same exact mistake again. You know. I kind of lost my train of thought there, but
Well,
yeah, it's the exact same thing that they were going to do by just jumping on Todd Phillips' leg, and so that's what makes me worried about James Gunn. I saw a tweet where somebody was talking about George Miller's planned Justice League. You remember that movie?
oh, I do, and I've read the whole synopsis of that story.
Right. So once again, you know, as much as I had a problem with Man of Steel or some of the stuff Zack Snyder did, there was that studio interference where he was going to do.
Hey, I lost you.
You hear me now?
Yes.
He had this clear vision of what he wanted it to be. And they came and said, hey, listen.
Yeah, it's sorry, man. You're cutting out again. I don't know what happened.
Yo, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry, got microphone problems here.
Yeah, I gave him a crappy mic. That's my fault.
Anyway, he had a clear vision for what he wanted his universe to be. And unfortunately, the studio came in and saw what happened with Avengers and immediately made him go to Batman vs. Superman, right? So what's to say they're not going to do that again with James Gunn? And I think somebody, the tweet I was talking about, made a great point of like, listen, it doesn't have to be exactly like Marvel, okay? You could have done something like George Miller with a great Justice League movie and then use that as a vehicle to launch the independent movies for the independent heroes. But you didn't want to have a vision. You didn't want to do that. You don't want to stick with the director's vision because you're always reactionary. That's what this just feels like people are worried about. And James Gunn says it's not going to happen, but I mean, their track record isn't the best.
No, it's not. And because we all I will say this though, I do think Zack Snyder is an artist, but I'm not liking Zack Snyder's most recent things that he's done, especially like Army of the Dead. But James Gunn, I do feel like has more of a sensibility for like these fantasy movies. Sorry. You know what I'm saying? I feel like he's got more of a sensibility than Todd Phillips. I think Todd Phillips, we've all said that the movie he did was the Taxi Driver King comedy movie that happened.
Yeah, what movies is he going to remake for every DC movie?
Right. Like we don't want to see that style in every character. I do think James Gunn being, getting his roots from trauma, I think he understands that there does need to be an element of fantasy in these things. So I'm more happy with him than I would have been with Zack Snyder or Todd Phillips, because Snyder's just a visual guy. Give Snyder as your director of photography, then you'll be great.
Yeah,
just don't let him handle the story. Yeah, he has gotten a little slow mo addict here recently, especially in Justice League. Jeez,
I talked about this when he was a master. Used to have our own channel. We talk about this all the time. Is like, Matrix really popularized that because it gave everything an anime feel with that slow mo. What a lot of people don't realize is some of the best anime fight scenes are done super fast. Like they're done super fast motion. Now, I don't know if it's really possible to pull that off in filmmaking and make it super coordinated, but people are overdoing the slow. It's overkill. And Zack Snyder took that to a whole new level. I just roll my eyes every time slow mo scene.
That Flash scene, dude, it's like at some point you're like, okay, let's pick it up.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm not trying to sit here all day and watch this action scene for real.
Yeah, the creepo like smelling her hair while she's flowing through the air and everything. The car crash.
It tried so hard to be the scene from X-Men Days of Future Past with Quicksilver.
Quicksilver, which was awesome.
Yeah.
It was an awesome addition to what was already a great movie in Days of Future Past. It was the only real good thing about Apocalypse.
I hear in the new Flash movie, there's going to be a lot of slow motion scenes of him kidnapping underage women,
Yeah.
brainwashing them. So
Yeah,
that
taking them to Alaska.
Could be a different take, you know?
Yeah, talking about yeah, I think the Flash is going to he's breaking dimensions in this. So it's taking they're pulling from real life.
Yeah, he's breaking dimensions because he's running from the cops.
Did you see that post that Ezra said though? He was like, "You can't catch me. I'm in another dimension."
Oh, did he say that?
He put a tweet out that had something on writing, and it was like a piece of paper, but it was a tweet and or Facebook something, but a picture of it that says, "You can't find or can't catch me. I'm in another dimension."
Damn, man. We'll get the monitors after it. All right, let's move on to our next story, guys. Blacklisted Adam. So we got another series of tweets here. There's been a lot of speculation about the feature of these DC actors, and one in particular, Black Adam, aka box office bomb Black Adam. And Dwayne Johnson decided, I'm going to go ahead and get ahead of this. Let me address these rumors in the way that everybody addresses rumors now via Twitter. Bobo, if you want to put those tweets that I said.
Man, I got it. You just got to let me get on there.
Hey, man, no, I wanted to transition to you putting them up. I wasn't trying to get on your case.
No, I'm gonna when you start talking, I was literally about to.
It's all good. It's all good. It's all good. Damn, Bobo's snappy today, right, guys?
No, but I got him, is what I'm saying.
All right. Let me read the tweet. My passionate friends, I want to give you a long-awaited Black Adam update regarding the character's future in the new DC universe. James Gunn and I are connected, and Black Adam will not be their first chapter of storytelling. Not be in their first chapter of storytelling. However, DC and $7 have agreed to continue exploring the most valuable ways Black Adam can be utilized in future DC multiverse chapters. James and I have always known each other for years and have always rooted for each other to succeed. It's no different now, and I will always root for DC and Marvel to win, and win big. You guys know me, and I have very thick skin, and you can always count on me to be direct with my words. He would then go on. This is another tweet that he put out there.
Mm-hmm.
The decisions made by James and DC leadership represent their vision of DCU through their creative lens. After 15 years of relentless hard work to finally make Black Adam, I'm very proud of the film we delivered for fans worldwide. I will always look back on the fan reaction to Black Adam with tremendous gratitude, humility, and love. We did great. To my very passionate and vocal Black Adam / superhero genre fans, I love you, thank you, and I will always listen to you and do my best to deliver and entertain you. What a hell of a month. Now, we all need some Terramana. I don't know what that means. Have a productive week and happy holidays to you and your families. If you smell...
Yeah, okay. I love that. Yeah.
So, a lot of interesting things to break apart here. He said they will not be in the first chapter. So, is he going to be in the second chapter, the third chapter? Is he not going to be in any of the chapters? He also dropped a hint, or he also gave Marvel props. Is he going to be in the Marvel universe? And, there was another interesting little factoid I pulled from there that is coming to my, not coming to my direction. If you go to the second tweet. Will he be working on other DC properties besides Black Adams? Will he be making some cameo in some DC movies? That's where I was going to go with that. So, what do you think about all this, Bobo?
At this point, man, I think what I've said to you in text when we've been talking about some of these tweets when they come out, it's like, what a mess, man. I mean, it's just weird to not only have this movie that just came out, they're announcing they're about to switch gears and drop all these people with still a movie within this dying universe. It's still to come out with Shazam, Fear of the Gods. So it's Flash. And the Flash. Well, I'm thinking that they're going to try to utilize the Flash as the turning point. They're going to have to. If not, what's the point of releasing that movie unless you're just going to get your money back? But that movie has to have some sort of finality to it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, wouldn't it be hilarious if when Ezra Miller goes to trial, they use that movie to like maybe that movie is so bad that they use it to to
To say that he lost like all this money, and part of them losing this money was because of your decisions, and so you now instead of you getting charged with kidnapping and charged with all this conspiracy, you're also being charged with financial whatever. it looks like we got little issues on that end, but I think that they knew that they were going to have to switch gears somehow, but they also can't just let this movie die. It's been hyped up, been talked about. It's got too much money on the line, or can they afford to let it die?
Yeah, that's a good point. So my sound mixer just died, guys. So I apologize. There's going to be some noise issues on my end, but I'm talking through my camera microphone right now.
We can hear you. We can hear you. Uh-oh. Now we lost him. So I'm still here. But going back to them making these big changes with The Rock, I think it's weird that The Rock has been this movie is just now released on HBO Max, and they're just flaunting all this future. Henry Cavill's at the end of it. I mean, I don't know if you guys have seen it, but spoiler alert, post-credit scene, Henry Cavill as Superman shows up. So and like I said, Shazam is still about to come out. Fury of the Gods still hasn't come out yet. So that universe, which they're announcing is going to be dead, that universe is still technically ongoing because it hasn't been released. I don't know what they're going to do unless they use the Flashpoint as some sort of a turning point, which they could. I mean, that whole story, and I keep calling it Flashpoint because that's what the story arc's called in the comics. But that whole story is about Flash going back in time, basically running so fast that he turns back time and he goes into another alternate reality, or he changes things to an alternate reality, and then he has to change them back. So they'll probably pull from that and it changes back to all these new people. I don't see how they wouldn't use that. And it's their one actual option to change things. You know, it's their way. That's the way DC Comics did it when they did the Flashpoint storyline. They actually started all the characters like Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, everybody started them over again and retold their stories in a modern day situation. So, you know, they'd add new things here and take away some things and change some things here and there, but it was essentially the same story you knew. So even old school readers like myself could reread this new stuff and kind of enjoy it, but it was also for the new reader. So that's kind of what I think they're doing with DC as well, but they also could be shifting gears from what we already had. They could also keep one or two of the characters. Maybe they're going to shift this, and when it comes back, that the guy that we used to know as Aquaman is now this Lobo character, because we all know that he's supposed to be playing Jason Momoa is supposed to be playing Lobo. They're saying they've rumored that, and he's not going to be doing Aquaman anymore. Which now the latest rumors too about that is that Gal Gadot is no more, which they initially said they want to keep her, but now they're saying she's no more. So it looks like they're just dumping all of this, which, God, I hate to see you go, Gal. Really hate to see you go. But, you know, it is what it is. And ultimately, I just want a good DC franchise and a good DCEU, something that's solid that we can sink our teeth into, that we're not always complaining about. And I wish they wouldn't just do it so soon from now. We can just call it the Frankenverts. All right, it looks like Anshul is back. Maybe there he is.
Yo.
So yeah, I was just talking about what I thought was going to happen as far as they've got to use the Flash movie as some sort of a weird reset with these new characters that they're going to cast and everything. That's the only thing I can think of.
Okay. Well, I agree with you there. Seems like I'm still talking through my camera mic, but that's all right. So let's go ahead and move on. You guys are probably tired about hearing about that. So let's go ahead and move on to the next point. Sorry about the technical issues. Mr. Unlimited. If you're a sports fan, you get that reference if you know who Russell Wilson is. But James Gunn put out another series of tweets answering to a fan who wanted to know if he was going to go ahead and borrow from some inspiration for his new plans for Justice League. And we'll wait for Baba to put those up.
Yeah, well, I was looking for a tweet, though. Was there another James Gunn tweet?
Mm-hmm. I sent it to you.
Yeah, and I had it. I literally just had it. Now, after I just bitched at you. I swear I just had it on here, and now I don't know where it is.
It's okay. So basically, a fan asked James Gunn if he would think about pulling from Justice League Unlimited and
Young Justice.
Young Justice for inspiration for his DC universe, and he answered by saying definitely. All right, so Bobo, have
What
you
is that?
ever
What
seen Young Justice?
I have, and real quick, when he says definitely, do you think that means Young Justice or Justice League Unlimited or both?
I think he means both. But I mean, listen, I loved season 1 of Young Justice. After season 2, I was kind of out. I don't know about you.
I honestly, and I'll be straight with you, these cartoons were coming on right at the time that my radar just wasn't on animated stuff like that. And so I knew what it was, and I know what Young Justice is from the comics, of course. But as far as the cartoon, I never actually watched it.
So Young Justice definitely caters itself to the younger audience, and it goes way out there to cater itself to a younger audience. And that's fine as long as they're pulling the numbers. So as long as they can justify it by getting the numbers from those audiences, I get that. But a lot of the fan base, like you and I, are a little bit older, and so it doesn't really speak to us. I could see James Gunn doing some interesting stuff with that, though. Justice League Unlimited is what I'm really most interested in. That's one of my favorites. That's a classic, in my opinion.
So yeah, that's definitely the Jon Stewart character, all that stuff worked, and that's probably the tail end of what I got into when I was watching still the cartoon stuff. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because my love for the Batman animated series was huge, and so I was like, oh, this kind of makes me feel like that.
Yeah, I agree, man. That cartoon is a classic. It's one of the better ones. Avengers Assemble was another one that was done really, really well. It was around that time.
Mm-hmm.
And they both got cut a little bit short because, unfortunately, in animation, if you're not selling toys, you can't justify the cost of animating a show. We talked about that here on this program. A lot of people get mad. I see a lot of tweets talking about, oh, it's so stupid. They canceled such and such because they couldn't sell toys. Yeah, guys, people only make movies to make money. Also, it takes money to make movies and TV shows. So if you can't justify it by making money, then what are you doing? You can't ask people to make movies and just burn money like it's, Christmas fire fuel.
They have
just
to
because you want to be entertained.
They have to be proven there's a circle of money coming through, that there's money beforehand and there's money after.
Yep, exactly. So, yeah, we'll see, man. I'm interested to see what they do about potentially pulling source material for what James Gunn's plans are. He did say he's going to have more information in January, so maybe we'll have a little bit more information to go by then.
Yeah, we'll see. And obviously he's got a plan,
Mhm.
but we're all just theorizing at this point. And that's the problem these days. We get one little piece of news, one little tweet, and then we all start coming up with theories, and then think and decide even, well, you know what, that's got to be what they're going to do. And then and it isn't what they're going to do. We get mad.
Yep. But we'll see. But he did have a little bit more to say about Superman. Not so Smallville. So he did give some context on what his plans are for Superman. Yes, he's going to do a younger Superman, but it's not going to be an origin story. It's going to be a younger Superman that is also going to have already met a lot of the members of the Justice League. Now, he didn't say that they would be necessarily members of the Justice League at that point in time, but they will have met each other. So, Bobo, what is your interest level on yet another take on Superman at this point?
I don't want it. I want to see Clark, man. I want to see Superman. I want to see the duality of the two. I want to see Metropolis. I'm not interested in the farm anymore. I'm not interested in even his. Okay, maybe if this is telling like Clark's transition from farm boy to reporter, then I'm cool with that. If that's the story he's going to go with, I'm fine with that. If that's what he means, young Superman. But if he's talking about just like a younger version of Superman, that like Superman's like 22 years, like for example, if they're basically taking the Smallville show and now they're going to tell the Superman story after that show, not necessarily with Tom Welling, but you know what I'm saying.
Right.
I don't know if I want to see that. I'd rather just see like Clark kind of see that we saw the transition from him being from boy to teenager. I'd like to see him actually go from teenager to man.
Well, that's Smallville.
No, what I'm saying is Smallville was just the boy to teenager, very, very little a man and stuff. And I mean, I guess it is kind of at the end, but all that stuff was not really what I wanted. I'm talking about if he's going to do a movie That's just about that time of when Clark gets to the Daily Planet. He gets to Metropolis finally, and he decides to, this is what I'm going to do. Kind of like the Batman Begins
Well, that
situation.
sounds like that's what his pitch is, but I just don't know if there's going to be interest in that. I really like. Listen, first of all, you need to watch All Star Superman. It's a movie. It's an animated movie, but it's just a movie, and I think that's the route they need to go with. Just go 100% into all that it is about Superman being, this man from the future, and set it in a metropolis where it's pseudo futuristic. It's not really cyberpunkish, but pseudo futuristic, and kind of make it a little bit over the top. Why not?
Was that the one that was drawn by Frank Quigley and written by Grant Morrison?
It's one of in my opinion, one of the best Superman runs. There's one in the animated movie. They leave one story in particular that I'm kind of upset that they left out. I don't want to tell you about it because it would be spoilerific, but that's probably the best story out of that run. But still, the animated movie does do it some justice. It also changes the ending a little bit, and the ending, I'll give you some slight spoilers. The ending, I think, of the comic book is a little bit more poetic because Superman beats Lex Luthor the way Lex Luthor always wished he could beat Superman. Let's put it that way. And they kind of changed that in the movie as well, in the animated movie. But it's still great, and I think that's the run that they need to borrow from. Because why not? They've tried everything else at this point. They've tried to make it like Batman. They've tried to make it like Donner's version. It just is not working anymore.
Yeah, I mean, it does need to be something fresh. It needs to feel like something of its own, but it also needs to feel like the Superman we've always known. That's the trick. You have to find both of those angles. It's the same thing with Batman. You have to, which, my buddy and I were talking about the Batman this morning and how it kind of just misses and misfires on all cylinders. It's not bad. It's not that it doesn't run. It just misfires.
Yep.
Including the score. It's just not, I just don't know that y'all understood this character.
Yep.
And so I same thing with Superman. It's just like, just give us those two things. Make us want to be that character. Give us that sense of wonder. And then also make it to where it's going to be new and fresh. Yep. To something that we haven't seen before.
I agree. And I'm going to actually switch it up a little bit because I think this feeds right into our next topic. Terminatrix.
Yeesh.
So Terminator. So everybody remembers the classic movie Terminator, and of course you know who the director of Terminator is because he's just come out with a huge movie right now, and you also know the whack ass sequels that have come out. So
Jeez Louise.
James Cameron was talking and doing his press tour for Avatar, and somebody brought up Terminator, and he said, "Listen, basically, I think I could do another sequel." It's not official. It's just kind of in the planning phase. We may do it. We may not do it. But this time, I think I'm going to center it around AI and the dangers of AI. And my thought immediately was, didn't The Matrix already do that? Bravo. What are your thoughts about a potential Terminator sequel yet again, and this time about Skynet?
In hindsight, they should have left Terminator alone after part 2. Mm-hmm. I still enjoy Salvation. The story for 3 is a good story, but it's done terribly. The movie is executed terribly. Genesis, the last one is an abomination. They just need to leave the franchise alone, man. You're desecrating it more and more and more. So James Cameron even had his hand in the last movie, even though he's come out and say that, I made a mistake. Sorry. I just wanted to give my boy Arnold the hookup.
Yeah.
So it's like, but was that good for the movie? No. So I just wish they would leave it alone. Honestly, I don't need any more Terminator because it's a loophole. We talked about this. Can't they just really go far back and just kill everybody? So they just,
Yeah, I wish I could have been in the writing room when they were planning that Terminator Dark Fate. And the guy was like, "Okay, listen, here's my pitch, right? So Skynet's dead, right? But now we're gonna have a new Skynet, huh? Right? And there's gonna be Terminators that aren't Terminators, but they're like Terminators. Ooh, and then let's kill John." It sounds like a little kid was planning the movie. It had no originality to it. Everything about it was just a retread that basically screamed, "Hey, we're desperate to make $1."
Yeah,
so we're hoping that you buy into this new vision that's really just the old vision that we're hoping we can squeeze more sequels out of.
They just put it in a blender.
Yeah, exactly. No, they just basically, you just re-gifted something, fam. I mean, this Christmas time, right? You ever get a bad gift and you turn around and you got a Christmas party coming up for somebody that you don't like. You look at the bad gift you got.
I can't wait to re-gift this zombie.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what they did with Terminator Dark Fate. They just slapped some, paint on it before they put it back out there.
Yeah, Luna was the only good part of that we've talked about. Gabriel Luna was the only good part.
Agreed. James Cameron had more to say. Not so stranger danger. Shots fired by James Cameron, taking some shots at the kids from Stranger Things.
Jeez.
Let's go ahead and pull that up. I'm going to go ahead and pull up that article and read the headline to you. James Cameron didn't want Avatar teen actors to age like the Stranger Things kids, high schoolers that look like they're 27. The irony of this is that one of the kids in Avatar 2 is played by Sigourney Weaver, right? And there's only one kid that's not in, actual that's done without CGI. So I don't know what he's really going off there. And I think the kids in Stranger Things aren't 27. I think they're just past teenage.
Yeah, the only one that's the older one is the one who is older in the movie,
right?
And that's what's his name? Sorry, I'm looking for the banners. What's his name? I had it and I'm drawing a blank. But the one that we all are kind of like.
Steve Harrington.
Nancy's ex-boyfriend, not Steve, but the ex one.
Oh yeah.
He's the one that but he's older in the movie. He's not the same age, or he's older in the show. So I honestly am fine with it. Are they getting a little older? Yeah, but dude, if you would have seen some of the guys I went to high school with that were seniors in my high school, they were big old dudes, man. So.
It's not, and these kids aren't humongous.
No, that's what I'm saying. But the guys I went to high school with, some of them literally looked like that they were 30.
Yeah, there's some country fed boys here in Texas,
So
they got beards. Like I went to a kid with the school that was shaving by the time we were in 7th grade.
Oh, for sure, dude.
Yeah.
You were all jealous.
Yeah, exactly. So I know where he's getting off on that. He's been saying a lot. James Cameron's saying a lot on this media tour. It's like he turned into a curmudgeon, and he's got lots to say about everything. And frankly, it's kind of entertaining. And as long as Avatar puts up, he don't need to shut up.
It's funny though, is because he kind of it's funny how people will do this, because James Cameron was known for the longest time for being kind of, a little Michael Bay-ish, erratic on set and kind of tough to work with. And over the years, though, people have said that he's toned it down. And, on Avatar, and especially this movie, people are like, man, James is just really awesome to work with now. He's, he's so much more calmed down. But is he starting to break back out of his shell with these comments and everything? Is he starting to get, and is he starting to be like, no, I'm James Cameron, damn it.
We'll see, man. Let's go ahead and move on to our next topic. We're talking Wednesday on a Wednesday. So Wednesday tops the Nielsen streaming charts. So it's the #1 streamed show according to Nielsen. And our question, the reason we're bringing this up is we want to ask you guys, do we need to give Wednesday a chance? Because, Red Pill Babo was not about Wednesday, and so we didn't watch it. We're thinking maybe we need to go back and see if we can just go ahead and watch this. By the way, we've missed some comments. I don't know if you've been.
I haven't seen any.
Do you think he'll do a hard reset or just try and patch what's been done? I believe this is about James Cameron and Terminator.
I think this is when you were gone.
Okay.
Yeah, those were when you were gone. Sorry.
Okay.
Because we were talking about the multiverse, and Brian was like, we just call it the Frankenverse.
Gotcha. Yeah. Okay. So, what do you think? Do we need to give Wednesday a chance? I mean, listen, man, this thing's pulling some numbers.
Well, I mean, I'll be the first to say that there have been shows that I didn't give a shot because the first episode rubbed me the wrong way, and then I was encouraged to rewatch and did end up enjoying. Mm-hmm. So I'm willing to give it another shot. I just was turned off by that whole powers thing, man.
Well, why don't you guys let us know in the comments? Let us know if you want. Okay, I got you. Let us know if you want us to go ahead and give Wednesday a shot. If you'd like to see our reviews on it, or if you'd like to see us do a live stream about it, we're all about the people, man. Just like I said earlier. So just you let us know. You control the show. Let's go ahead and move on to our quick hits. We're going to go ahead and wrap up the show here. We're at 54 minutes, so this is turning out beautifully. First up, Mindy Kaling is going to be starring in an adult animated show about Velma. Yeah, you heard me. Velma from Scooby-Doo. First of all, they're putting Velma in some brown face, I see. And it's going to be an adult animated show on HBO Max. What are your thoughts on this, Bobo?
Well, while I'm not necessarily fully interested in all of her individual projects she's released, like some of her shows she's done after The Office, like I don't necessarily care about the content so much because it's just not my interest. but I do think she's uber talented, and I think she's funny.
Is she?
I do, man. I think that every time I see her being interviewed and everything, I think she's really quippy. I like her style. I obviously love her as Kelly Kapoor most. Like, that's my favorite moments of Mindy Kaling, but I think she's talented, man. I think that she can do some cool stuff. I just think she needs to have the right projects that are going to work for me. And if she does this to where it's got a little bit of R-rated humor and a little bit of sass and maybe a little like I'm proud of myself and proud of my body type humor, and maybe she's a little promiscuous and funny, kind of like Fleabag. I don't know if you've ever seen Fleabag.
Yeah.
But if it has that kind of like vibes of that, then I'm into it. I'm down, because I do think she's a talented and funny writer, personally.
So my thoughts on this are a little bit colored, because while my brother has met her and doesn't say anything bad about her, he's got no negative opinions on her at all. From that industry, I've heard that she's not a great person. I've heard that she's not really great to other brown actors. She only really started giving them a chance after she got shit for it. That's what I've heard. I can't verify that. This is what I've heard from some of the people I know. And so that gives me kind of a negative view of her. And so maybe that's why I never really thought she was that funny. Honestly, I never really found her that entertaining, not even on The Office. But hey, I'm all about giving my people a chance. Let's give it a shot, yo.
Well, and look,
the Harley show, and it sounds like it's gonna be in the vein of that.
Well, yeah, and the Harley Quinn show is funny. It's cool. It works, and I didn't think it was going to. But for you guys listening, when Angel's talking about his brother has met, this is a reliable source, and so like none of this is like we've heard from people that she does. Like, if Angel's saying that his brother said this, then that's...
Well, no, my brother has got nothing bad to say about her.
Right, but you said he's heard from his friends in the industry.
No, I've heard from other people.
Oh, I got you.
No, he hasn't. His runs with her, he doesn't have anything bad to say. It's just it was what it was, but it was nothing negative. But I've definitely heard from other people that are in that industry. No, it's fine. Yeah, so we'll see. I mean, listen, we may give this a shot. We may put this up for review if you guys are interested. If you're not, we won't watch it, because honestly, it's not like I'm that psyched for it. I don't know about you, but
I mean, I like different takes on things that work and you don't expect them to work. But I'm not sitting here being like, I can't wait for the new Velma show.
Well, we did have I don't know if you call it significant release, but there was a new release coming out that's gotten a little bit of buzz. I Want to Dance with Somebody. Early reviews are in. And they are not good, buddy. 53% on Rotten Tomatoes. Now, it's less than 20 reviews. And it's all the top critics. And we know they can be a little bit conceited at times. So I'm not ready to give up on it yet. But as a guy that didn't appreciate Whitney Houston nearly enough when I was younger, I'm really hoping that this movie's good. What do you have to say about it, Bobo?
I definitely wanted it to be good, or want it to be good. Whitney Houston's a huge part of my life, because my mom, music was a big part of my life. My mom and dad were both musicians. And so like my mom was always jamming Mariah Carey, Whitney Houston, any of the other girls that came out after, like Jennifer Lopez and stuff like that. But like Whitney Houston and Mariah Carey, she really jammed. And I know a lot of Whitney. I know a lot. I even jammed some of her, like emotional. I get so emotional. Oh, I love it. But I don't know if my mom is going to see it being bad at all. I think she's going to see Whitney and she's going to love that. I'm worried that any of these biopic movies are going to be bad, because some of them are so good now. And it's kind of like that Marvel thing. It's like, oh, now we're getting a biopic movie for every famous person.
Yeah, listen, Whitney deserves it though. Like I said, when she was in her prime, it was the 80s and I was a kid. And so I didn't want to listen to a girl musician. And then, when that song with the Bodyguard dropped, I heard it so many times and I was a teenager that was all into alt music. So I didn't care about that. It wasn't until I matured and got older and actually listened to her and quit being a hater, and I realized, man, that's some vocal talent. That's once in a lifetime. Her, Mariah, Aretha.
No, she one. She belonged. Yeah, I mean, vocally, she's one of the best it's ever been, and everybody knows that. Everybody in the industry today knows that.
Yeah, listen. I mean, now I go back and I listen to her hit that chorus, and I will always love you. Whew.
Did you know do you know that was the first take and first mix that they did? They didn't do. So basically, what it is that a lot of hours go into mixing a song and produce it and everything. But her take was so good that they spent like an hour mixing the song, and so that's the cut you hear.
I never heard the original.
So good. What'd you say?
I never heard that. The original song was originally done by Dolly, right?
Yeah,
I never heard the original one, but man,
it's totally different. Like that whole that was not Dolly. Whitney put that in there.
Oh, really?
Dolly hadn't done that. The Dolly's was very much a country.
Dolly's great. She's a legend, but I don't think she can do that. You know, I don't think that's her bag.
She'll tell you that's not her style, and she'll give praise to Whitney bringing the true life to that song. Dolly will straight up all day long give her the praise for that.
Are you going to watch this movie?
Yeah, I'll watch it. I'll probably see it with my mom just because she's good about watching stuff with us, and I know Whitney Houston because of my mom.
Right.
I want it to be good. I'm just always worried. Probably. I don't know. Look, if it blows me away, yeah.
I was just trying to put you on the spot.
No, look, my big thing is that I'm not trying to just spend a whole 10-minute edited review of hating on something. So like we can do that on this channel or on this show.
There's been enough hating. My sound mixer and my microphone have been doing enough hating on this on this podcast. Well, my sound mixer just completely died, by the way. That's what happened. And then while messing with it, I actually undid all my USB connections.
So that's why you
that's why I knocked off. Yeah.
Anshul had to go get his drugs from some guy outside real quick, so he just didn't want any evidence.
Yeah, that's why you see me wiping. I've been wiping my nose a lot because you made that accusation. Everybody gonna think I'm a cokehead, and those days are gone, people. 10 years ago, you might have had a point, but
you're looking at two pretty much sober guys. I mean, I like to smoke a bunch of bud, but that's it. None of us drink anymore.
In my Vaughn night review, I almost, which is coming out Friday, I almost put a little bit of a section about how you and I used to drink at the bar when you would sling me drinks. I don't know if I ever really had you bartend for me though.
I don't think I did. I think that I didn't bartend a ton at that Plano Goose because James was there and we did not get along. Because I would just stand up to the way he would shit talk to everybody. I'd be like, "Shut up, dude! Who do you think you're talking to?" And then so he just kicked me out of the bar. I couldn't work in there anymore.
Yeah.
So I just became a manager instead. But no, you can always bring up those stories, dude. If you ever want to rehash, because that's the thing. I'm not ashamed of my past. It's a part of who I am.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I am who I am today.
A little too far with that. Like when I've gone to meetings, we're getting a little deep on this podcast. I hate the podcast.
Yeah, that's what it's about.
Like when I go to those meetings, I'll see some people in those meetings, and you can tell they still haven't let go of that past. Like there's whenever they talk about it, they're reliving it, and they desperately want to go back to being that person. And that's why they always, in my opinion, end up relapsing. Right?
Sure.
I realize that those were not the good things I was doing. I don't regret them because I learned them from them. But I'm in no, I don't care to go back to those days. I'm glad I passed them.
Yeah, we're in our glory days now. Yeah. Those were the experimental days.
Yeah. And listen, that's how the origin story. So for those of you who are wondering, what the hell are both of you guys talking about? There is a local bar. It's actually a restaurant. It's a Mexican restaurant here in Dallas called the Blue Goose. They opened up a location in Plano, and your boy went there when it opened, made friends with some of the bartenders, and then I just happened to have a lot of friends at that time. So my friends and I would pack that place out. And then once enough people started seeing that the place was packed, it just all started rolling downhill, and the place became super popular. And I would go there and I would just drink for free all day long. And I did every day, 7 days a week. As soon as I got off work, on my days off, I'd go there and get plastered. And that's how I eventually met Blabo.
And that's how the culture.
Yeah.
That's how the culture of the restaurant was. So you would be working and you'd see all your friends getting off, and you had to work another hour. And by the time you're off, they're already like 3 drinks in, and you're just like, well, God, I want to go join them. And we all spent everything we made.
Not buying drinks.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, take shots. I mean, listen, I only worked there for a short period of time. Yeah, I hosted, because I'd never worked at a restaurant before. They wanted to put me in as a waiter. I was like, I'm not good enough to be a waiter. Put me in the host stand, let me learn. And then I ended up leaving a couple months later. But I thought when I was hosting, they'd sneak me shots.
Yeah, that's the culture of it, man. It was like that. It was a. Oh boy, we should do a dedication to memories of the Blue Goose sometime again.
Yeah, we'll get Worley here.
Maybe get Ryan McDonald to chime in for a second.
Yeah, I'll reach out to him. I'll see if he wants to be on the stream.
It'd be kind of fun, man.
Let us know, guys. Do you guys want to see an origin story, a Full Circle Films origin story? It won't really be a film, though. It'll just be a podcast on Brass Reel Films. Let us know. And if you guys want to join in, because there are a lot of people on this chat that actually know us, and we'd love to have you as well. You guys can do some shots. Bobo and I will drink the water.
Yes. Drink the water and coffee.
Yeah, and it would be about the way of the water. So, that I think that's going to do it for today's episode. We're already at an hour and 5 minutes. We had all sorts of technical issues. I want to thank you guys for fighting through all that. And so, let you guys know we have some exciting stuff planned. We have decided to, sounds like I for Telly and Silva, yes, need an origin story. All right, cool. We have decided, you know what? We haven't been doing shit with this freaking Patreon. What are we going to do? We've decided
that's some E for Telly buddies right there, by the way.
Yeah. We're going to do a Patreon episode. So right now we've got Patreon up. It's only a $3 tier. If you join that tier, we'll be giving you an extra episode per week. And we'll be doing a lot of other cool stuff with it. We've got a lot of merch planned, and this $3 tier, we've only got a limited amount of slots, but it's for people who are looking to help us out. And I know we don't have a lot to offer right now. So we're really going to make it worth your while if you decide to join that tier and give you as much as we can.
Yeah, but I'm about to start uploading some things on there as far as some artwork and things that I've done. And so what we'll do is start trying to, give away some things like that, have some special videos for you guys, all that kind of stuff we are working on. Like I said, progression is happening behind the scenes. You might not be seeing it yet, but soon you will be actually seeing the progression.
For sure. Yeah. And like I said, listen, if you join that $3 tier right now, you're doing us a favor. Right now, our channel is big enough. We recognize that. So we'll really make it worth your while if you join Patreon and toss us $3 a month. Hopefully we'll outgrow that $3 tier, but if you join it, you're going to be $3 tier for life. And so don't you worry about that. You can also catch us at Instagram and at Twitter at Shogun of Cinema. On that banner below that Bobo put up, what up? Congrats to Bobo.
Hell
you can
yeah.
also catch us at facebook.com/brassreel. We're also on TikTok. We have been kind of falling behind on the TikTok videos because that's a lot on Bobo's plate. And Bobo's got a film coming out, so he'd be super busy. But we'll get that up and running as well. So once again, hey, thanks for joining us. Thanks Asmaniac. Thanks Jerpy. Thanks Cruz. Bob Cruz, or is it Cruz Bob? Thanks, Brian. Thanks, and hope you guys join us next time. And until then, all you need to know, if you know one thing at all, is if life gives you lemons, Bob,
make some hot, fresh popcorn.
We out this biatch.